Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and we're happy to have you here to the fifth episode of I Am Practically Spiritual podcast. We're happy to have you. My name is Janet Weissman, and I am here with
Carlos Felipe.
right my partner in crime here, and what we're going to be doing this week. And just quickly think about it. Did you do your homework last week, or again, did the dog eat it? As we begin episode 5, you may have noticed, and we're going to be going over lessons 29 through 35 this week. And you may have noticed how many of these lessons are dealing with the concept of seeing. And remember, there is a difference between seeing and vision. In this world, we use them interchangeably. We use those words interchangeably, but for the purpose of acquiring a new thought system, there's a big difference. So both God and the world, now that's the world with a small w, are prominent in the lessons that we're reviewing this time. Several of this week's lessons are quite empowering as we practice the idea of seeing differently. Lesson 29, God is in everything I see. So this lesson tells us that this is the explanation for all of the lessons that we've had so far. This lesson, this one lesson, could really be enough for that new thought system to take hold if we truly believed it. But if I could look at everything with love, appreciation, and open mindedness, I would actually find this lesson easy to accept. So now we go to our transition to God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. Obviously, a continuation and expansion from 29. When I accept God's residence within my mind, it makes perfect sense that everything will look different. No matter what I look upon, it will be with vision. Vision, not body sight. I can use this huge thought of awakening towards anything, even if I don't see it. Vision is not dependent on space or thoughts of distance. So I can view with my vision and see and appreciate and experience differently when I accept this idea that there's a difference between vision and seeing. And what am I really using for this? I call it insight. Now break
Mm,
that word down.
very
Insight.
good. Always good with the words, Janet.
You know, I love to play with words, Felipe. It's one of my favorite things. So, um, so, uh, 31 lessons. So now this is a big one. This is one of those empowerment lessons that I'm not the victim of the world I see. And very often we think we are. You know, why is everything going against me? Why do I have the bad luck? Why is everything wrong with my world? Not with everyone else's. I see everyone else as being happy and, joyful. I have to shift my idea of I'm not the victim of the world I see. The lesson tells us this is a declaration of release. Release, and I break that one down to real ease. So what exactly is my world? Is it within my thoughts or is it perceived outside of me? And does that really matter? But because both of them, both my inside world and my outside world, have held me hostage over time. So this lesson is a declaration of independence, and it even uses that phrase towards the end of this lesson. It's a declaration of independence from both of my worlds. And my thoughts have caused my beliefs in what I think is real. You know, we go back to, I mentioned it, I think, in our first episode, stinking thinking. That's what John Monday, and I may have mispronounced his name, but that's what one of John Monday's phrases. Okay, so it's caused my beliefs in what I think is real. Practicing this lesson, when we do that, we're asked to close our eyes and envision a parade of thoughts that represent your world And now declare your independence from them. Because one of the things about the Course is ideas strengthen when they're shared. And this is for our Declaration of Independence. We are declaring our freedom from our inside and outside worlds. And that freedom will be shared with everyone. Okay? And we'll have our own parade of freedom with this when I realize I'm not the victim of the world I see.
I think this lesson, Janet, and as you put it, is wonderful. You know, I love how you word our world inside and outside both hold us hostage.
Mm-hmm.
This is so important because that is exactly the concept of being a victim. And it's important, guys, to how this course and the previous lessons is the vision. We are trying to develop the vision in the way that we can see God in everything we see, right? And in order for that to happen, you do need to see how you victimize ourselves, how we victimize ourselves because we hold hostage. And this whole course, and is what it's trying to help us with, is to become independent of that, to get away from the victim. So I just wanted to say that because I think that's so key.
Right, right. And that was a perfect segue, truthfully, to the next lesson, which is I have invented the world I see. So, how can I be a victim of an illusion? How can I be a victim of something that I made up? Well, truthfully, I can't. This lesson also, when we say I've invented the world I see, this is one of those lessons where we're not only being asked, we're being told you have to take responsibility. Okay? But if I think an illusion is reality, even though it says small r there, I have invested myself in the effects of the illusion. There's always a cause and effect. The belief in illusions is the cause, okay? And the experience I'm having, well, that's the effect. So we're going to continue this recognition that inner and outer worlds are actually the same. And since I made up my world, again with a little w there, which is my illusion, I can unmake it. I call all of this, I refer to it as make believe. You know, when you were a kid, we did make believe, right? Um, so if I make it, and I then believe it. Okay? It's make believe. I make it, I believe it. It's just a child's game. And very often throughout the course, it tells us it's time to give up children's games. Lesson 33. There is another way of looking at the world. Again, it's an empowering lesson. Now, I have a favorite thing about this lesson because it happens on February 2nd, which in the United States is Groundhog Day. And I love the movie Groundhog Day. And Groundhog Day is actually a wonderfully spiritual movie showing us that if we're staying in the same illusion, we're just doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Thank you, Albert Einstein, for the definition of insanity there. So, but we don't have to be stuck in this world that we made. So then what's the catch? Well, we have to look at our surroundings and our inner thoughts without getting caught up in them. Remember lesson 2, that I've given everything I see all its meaning, and this includes my thoughts about everything. So now I need to revisit my inner and my outer worlds and remove the meaning that I've put on it and remind myself there actually is another way to view and think about everything. Absolutely everything. So, because it's a practical course and this is I am practically spiritual, I want to give a practical example of, there being another way of looking at things. There are, and I love animals. There are certain breeds of animals, dogs specifically, that are seen as being vicious, okay, and they have a bad rap, okay. They don't really deserve it, and because they have this reputation, completely undeserved in most cases, they are harder to adopt at these shelters. and one of those breeds is a pit bull. And there's also, you can look and find millions, thousands or more of videos of people who have pit bulls that are so gentle and so kind and so loving, and they're not vicious at all. So there's another way of looking at everything, and that includes pit bulls, Rottweilers, German shepherds. We we have placed meaning and grievances and judgments around things that don't deserve them. So, and again, I'd like to use a practical example, something that we can all relate to and doesn't seem far fetched. Now, I got a fun fact for you. Currently in Fort Lauderdale, at the Abandoned Pet Rescue, there's a lovely female pit bull that is looking for adoption. So if you happen to be in the area, I think her name is Honey. Okay, so
Oh,
how could that be mean if her name is Honey? She's got
that's
to
a
be sweet.
that's a perfect way
Anyway,
to see it in a different way. Oh, lovely. That's great.
okay, so now here's another great one. I could see peace instead of this, but because, I like to play with words and change things around here and there, I change it to what I think is more empowering and say, I can see peace instead of this. So, since there is another way to look at this world, and if I can, it gives me more ability, I think. Um, is there another way to look at the world? And it's currently being influenced by my attack thoughts. Lesson 23. I can escape the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. Then, without attacking, what's left? What's left, Felipe? Without attacks?
If you don't attack, then you will have some peace finally, right? When you stop attacking. And that's the
Yes.
same with us. Once we understand, I wanted to mention real quick because, again, our thoughts, guys, are the cause, and then we
Mm,
have effects. So again, like we said before, right? And now we're looking at if we attack, that's the cause. What are we going to have? The boomerang is coming back, and we have to defend
right.
ourselves. So that's when we get caught on, and like you said wonderfully in the Groundhog Day, is that we keep repeating same situations.
Right. Right. So, so right. We remove the attack thoughts, and as Felipe gave us the answer, all we have left is peace. So by removing all my attack thoughts, not only will I have peace, but with peace I will uncover the truth. Now that has a capital T. And the truth, the real truth, is within my mind, and that's also where peace resides and it abides because it was placed there in the moment of our creation. And for this lesson, we want to focus on our inner world where we keep fear. So this lesson tells us that peace of mind is clearly an internal matter. It is within us. That peace is within us, but we have disconnected from it. So we want to realize that it's possible. It's possible. It's the most possible thing in the world for us to indeed see and have peace. And now, our last lesson that we're going to cover for this week is my mind is part of God's. I'm very holy. Now, one thing I always pay attention to when I'm reading the Course are the capital letters because they always indicate that there's something with, if it has a capital letter, other than, of course, if it's at the first letter of the first word of a sentence, it means that it's associated with something that's eternal or with God. So, the very practical part of this lesson is the fact that we will always believe we are part of where we think we are. Okay? We think, wherever we think we are, that's what we think we're part of. That's where we belong. So, this idea of being part of an eternal source, and that has a capital S, means that we possess the characteristics of our source. And in this case, it's holiness. But that is not how we currently view ourselves because we filled our minds with illusions which are not true. Okay, so we have to, give those illusions an eviction notice. We don't need them in our mind.
I like
All
that very
right.
much. That's great way to put
So,
it.
and it's time for us to get rid of the illusions and seek and understand the truth. So,
That's wonderful. I love this set of lessons and how, if you see, it's very important the concept of being a victim, right? And then, because it is asking us, the course is asking us to be responsible for that. Because it's only, again, we created that, and we have to realize that when we have troubles and we feel a victim, is that we have created that situation.
no, we made it.
We made it.
Made
Sorry,
it.
yeah, thank you for that correction. You see, that's wonderful, but that's wonderful because, guys, and this is very important, Janet. You see, that's what happened. That's why Holy Spirit always intervenes. But we made things and we made these situations and we made make or made ourselves into victims. So here the course is very important. This set is asking us to first be responsible, okay? And little by little, because we have to build the muscle on it. So right now, he's asking you, and he has been asking us in the previous lessons to be responsible for our thoughts. And that's very important because our thoughts make our reality. Okay,
Right,
guys? So we need to get out of that victim mode, and the only way we can do it is by taking responsibility of those thoughts.
right, right. And I mean, things are going to happen, in this world. They're every day there's going to be experiences, situations that are not to our liking. But that doesn't mean I have to get caught up in it and feel that it's something that's being targeted towards me and now I'm a victim of it. I can view it as a witness to the situation and be there. And one of the beautiful prayers in the course in the text is that tells us I'm here to be truly helpful. So in this situation, how can I be helpful instead of thinking that I'm a victim of that situation? When I'm being helpful, then I don't feel like a victim. I feel like a helper being, and wasn't that what Mr. Rogers called them? Always look for the helper beings around us. Well, we can be one of those helper beings around us.
I think that's key and very important. But again, guys, the course is also not asking you to leave. And an important part of being here for us is to integrate these concepts into life. So also, it's not to say that you can have likes and dislikes. That's fine. Everybody does, and nobody's asking you not to do it or to negate that. No, it's the only thing. Don't judge the situations. Don't get caught up, be caught on judging good or bad. Just witness and be an observer. I think that's key, and the course will always invite us to do it. And
Right.
just you decide.
So let's review our homework assignments that we've had for the past few weeks. You want to do that for us, Felipe?
Well, what did we have first? We had judgment, right? We need to, again, like you can like something or dislike something, that's fine. You can have a taste or kind of your opinion, but as long as you know it's your opinion and don't judge that. All right. And then we can see that a lot of our thoughts are based on the past and past experiences, right? We are
Mm-hmm.
building up, and then again, our thoughts cause things, make things, right? So there's no neutral thoughts. They will create either way.
Right.
Pick the way you want it to go. And then to follow up, guys, last time we saw about gratitude and the importance of what that is. And I call it, and I think it is a superpower to be there. We are here. This life is about to experience. And if we can become grateful, I think just that makes life so much better, so much
Mm-hmm.
better.
Yes. And now our homework for this week is
Hmm.
it's based from one of the lessons. It tells us to pick a person or an event that bothers you because remember there's no such thing as a small upset, and practice seeing that person or that event differently. Try to get to that neutrality within that situation, so that we don't have any judgments around them.
So that
Okay?
will apply, right? God is in everything I see. Practice that. We'll
Exactly.
practice that, right?
Exactly. So, I think that does us for this week, right? And
Yes. Thank you so much, guys, for being here.
Right.
Please subscribe and like the podcast, and also please leave some comments and also questions that you may have.
Right. And remember to breathe and smile.
Yes. See you next time. Thank
See
you.
you
Thank you
next
for
time.
being here.